My name is Michael, and in this video I will discuss the use of phrasal verbs in academic writing, particularly with respect to the social sciences. After the video you can have a go at doing the worksheet, and in a follow-up video we can look at that again.
And the content is quite advanced. It's aimed at kind of higher undergrad level or postgrad level or professional. And one thing to say, there's no single standard for academic writing. It depends on the area of study or discipline. And so in the video, I need to be specific as to which discipline we're looking at. And here we'll look at social science writing. Let's look at the example. In this section, we describe the data that we use to carry out our analysis. The sentence comes from a published research article in the social sciences. And notice the use of we there. We can talk about that in another video. And there is the phrasal verb carry out. The authors could have said conduct, but there's nothing wrong with using carry out in this sentence. So the issue, you face is which phrasal verbs can you use in academic writing? That's the issue. We all know that phrasal verbs are a characteristic feature of English, especially spoken English. But what about written English? And what about written academic English in particular? You may have been told by your teacher to avoid the use of phrasal verbs in academic writing. And if you're at a beginning level of academic writing, then you could follow that advice. It is true that one problem that learners have is putting too much spoken usage into their writing. And generally, phrasal verbs are associated with speech. And so phrasal verbs like go and get, we shouldn't use. So you should say increase rather than goes up, and decrease rather than goes down. Phrasal verbs are used, however, in academic writing. You just have to know which phrasal verbs to use. And it's good to use some phrasal verbs. They're good synonyms. If you only use the Latin-based verbs in your writing, then your writing will be rather heavy and also somewhat repetitive. As I say, this video is for advanced academic writing, and because we're using real examples from published research. If you go to a lower level, you get something out of the content, but you'll find some parts a bit difficult. Below is a link to a unit on phrasal verbs with some of the data presented here and with some exercises for you to look at. So let's look at the use of phrasal verbs in social science writing. The most frequent phrasal verbs are result in, carried out, rely on, set up, depend on, point out, make up, bring about, and set up. So let's look at some example sentences using these phrasal verbs. Here are a couple of exercises for you to work on using the worksheet that's linked to below. A couple of the exercises are quite straightforward. There's a harder one where you have to write your own sentence based on revision or a summary of the sentences from the research article.
Have a look at these sentences and determine what kinds of things are carried out. This is taken from the worksheet. This exercise contains sentences taken from the corpus with some of the verbs or particles gapped.
Anyway, have a look at the worksheet and we can go through that in the next video.